wanted everybody to still be close together.
But I am glad that we waited until our kids were a little older. You know, we love to forage. Sometimes you get too much. You got to put it somewhere. Freezer is a great place for that.
And the bus thing just made sense for us. Hi, I'm John.
I'm AJ.
I'm Lily. I'm Henry. I'm Iris. I'm Violet.
And we are a wild family.
With our couch, we have quite a bit going on. We have lots of storage underneath, mostly just blankets here. The cushions come all the way off, and then this flips up. And underneath there is our RV water heater, so it's accessible, and then our water shutoffs are there as well. Down under here, this flips up, and this is all storage underneath. Again, it's just kind of our bulk items, but it's a big space. This then slides out, and this cushion here comes down to make Mom and Dad's bed, which is about 48, 49 inches, which is a pretty good size bed. I think it's about the size of a full. We have a Pioneer. I think it's the 12,000 BTU unit. We love it so far. We've been in here for 3 months, 4 months, and it hasn't given us any trouble. It will, on AC, it'll freeze us out of here. It does that well. And we have enough battery storage that we're actually able to run it all night long if we have a full charge. So initially, when I was first thinking this through, it was just going to be a box with maybe a shelf or two in it. And then, of course, Amanda comes along and says, why would we do that when we can make it more? So we went ahead and added a little desk so that she can put a laptop on here while she's writing her book. Again, you have a port you can plug in and be all hooked up. So under here is where all the electrical stuff is. It's all nice and accessible. All you really have to do is move the cushions. So I tried to put as much on the back wall as possible so that saves space down here. So we have a Smart Solar MPPT 15085 Victron charge controller. This is our AC distribution. 30 amp breaker for coming in. There's our 12 volt distribution box. Again, try to keep it as neat as possible, just so if there's ever a problem, you can see it. Going into this, I knew a lot about electrical as far as residential stuff. Going down the 12 volt solar route, I did have to do a lot of learning. So we went with AM Solar because they gave me everything I needed. And they have a ton of stuff on their website for education purposes, which I ate up. I loved it. So I am super appreciative of that. Underneath, we have a Victron Multi-Plus 3000 watt inverter, and then 2 Life Blue 200 amp hour batteries for a total of 400 amp hours. That will take us, if we have 100% charge, we can run our air conditioner all night long and still be able to make breakfast. That's pretty good. We left enough space in here so that I could have put another battery. At this point, I don't think that'd be necessary. I think we have plenty of battery storage. If we would add anything, we would maybe add more solar panels, but honestly, it's just kind of a sun thing. We don't really need it at all. In between the batteries and the inverter, I went ahead and made a hole and put just a little 12 volt fan in there and wired it into a thermostatic control so that if it gets over, I think, 92 degrees in here, it will turn on that fan and it will draw the hot air down, which works out kind of nice because right underneath here is our water tanks. And the thought being, if it was going to be really cold, I could set the thermostat down low and just have it continuously run and pump warmer air down to the tanks just to keep from freezing. Down in here is some of our electrical monitoring stuff. We don't really need much of that because it's all on an app through the iPad, so it's unnecessary. Then to close off the back from the front, because at nighttime it's nice to be able to have some of that separation, we put a pocket door in between the two spaces. Then coming through here is our throne. We have the Nature's Head. It works okay. Honestly, it's probably a little overpriced for what it is. There's things about it we don't love, so I think we could do better for sure. So up front, we wanted everybody to still be close together. Initially, we had talked about putting the kids like in the back on a couch setup. The reality of that just would be annoying because when you're driving, kids always want snacks. Kids are always trying to talk to you, yell at you. So we wanted it to feel more like a regular vehicle, to all be right up here. We're close to the fridge. We're not yelling back and forth. It just works out a lot better. And then safety was also a big part. We went ahead and used 2 of the existing seats. We had removed them and then reinstalled them. Bolted them just like they had been bolted originally. They didn't have shoulder straps when we bought the bus, but I went ahead and welded some brackets and bolted them to the frame underneath and got straps, so they're fully secured. We even have Violet in a booster like she should be. Table in between, so while the kids are driving, they can do whatever they want. They can draw, they can play games. And again, we put a little USB and lightning port there, so if you wanted to have an iPad charging, you can do that as well. Amanda sits in this seat here, which swivels and slides back and forth. It's actually the most comfortable seat in the house. I just pulled this out of like a 95 Dodge conversion van at a junkyard for like 70 bucks. I actually cut the original plate off of the van and bolted that so that the seat can actually be quick detached. So if I needed to move something large, like say I had to replace the fridge, I should be able to get it back out by removing the seat. Right here over the other wheel well is just shoe storage, just an empty box. We didn't do much organizing. We had talked about doing different types of shelves or this and that. In the end, it made more sense for us just to have a box that we could toss stuff in.
So we had actually talked about doing the bus thing about 8 years ago, and he had concerns about, because I was pregnant with my 3rd and the kids were still really little, and he had concerns about us changing scenery every day, every other day, for the kids being that little. And we had buyers for the farm and everything. We were ready to sign, started packing and everything, and we decided to stay at the farm and really root ourselves in there and kind of, be the change that we wanted to see. We felt like we had some things to offer in our community, and I'm really glad we did. I'm not saying that other kids can't have a great life on the road, other little kids, but I am glad that we waited until our kids were a little older. I feel like they had a really good foundation so that now when we go out into this whole new landscape for them, they have a confidence about themselves. They have communication skills that they've worked on really hard, emotional skills, all these things that we've spent a lot of time working on, just communicating with each other and stuff.
Yeah, they're like a highly trained little unit.
Yeah, so we're plant-based and we love cooking. We love cooking together. It's something we really enjoy and it's really important to us. That was why having a full-size fridge was something we knew was a priority. We wanted to be able to, go out for 2 weeks and have all the food we wanted, fresh veggies and fruits. So that's been, everybody comments on that when we come in here, and I just couldn't imagine it any other way. And having freezer storage, we love to forage. Sometimes you get too much, you got to put it somewhere. Freezer is a great place for that. At the farmhouse, I also had open shelves like this, and I really wanted it in here because as I'm cooking, I don't like to have to go down and look and search for things. I want it to be all right here. So a lot of these are different things we grew at the farm, which just adds a little, sentimental factor there that we love to be able to cook with food that we grew at the farm, and we can see it all. It's easy. I have this here is our drying rack, which mostly we keep, everybody has their own color in our family. We've always done it that way. So whenever the dishes are done, they go up here and then the water drips right down in here. So it's not taking up counter space. Something I love about this that I thought would be a little silly, or I guess John thought would be a little silly, but it has a light on it. So when it gets hotter, it changes the color. Kind of fun. But at night when you're filling things and you don't want to turn on all the overhead lights, that's when we really find that it's helpful. Or early in the morning when the kids aren't up yet and we're doing things in here. I love the size of the sink. I love that it has 2 basins. I wouldn't want anything bigger. So we have an induction cooktop. And it does great for us. It's just 2 burners. I wondered if that would be enough because I really like not just cooking meals for our family, but also for others. I like hosting, and I was used to having 4 burners. It does the trick, but to be honest, we're not in here cooking as much as we are outside. We prefer to be outside when we can, and so we have the cooker outdoors that's LP. And so we almost always opt to cook out there, unless it's like, you know, late at night or cold and we don't want to go outside or something. We'll do it in here. So we have, I feel like, a lot of drawers, and to be honest, I don't know, it's probably more than I needed. We have our silverware drawer in here that John built, you know, custom little dividers, and that's been perfect. Something that was weird for us to get used to, we always composted at the farm. And so now everything goes in the trash, and that is weird because we used to recycle, and everything would either be recycled, composted, burned, and now everything just goes into here. So this was important to us to have plenty of storage for our waste. We had planned initially on having this one being recycling. The reality is, on the road, yes, we could do it and we could do a better job of it, but it does take a lot more effort to recycle on the road. Yes, we have the storage for it, but we're not always near a place where we could drop off our recycling. So then when this gets full, we would have to store it somewhere else. So it's definitely something that we could do better at, and we don't, but this does work for us now. So over here we have more storage. Down here is just some more pantry goods, I guess you would say. Up here we have, instead of a traditional oven, we went with an air fryer. This was new to us. We've been very happy with it. So you'll notice we don't have any gas in the house. I didn't want that at all. I wanted everything electric. And then up here we have our espresso machine, Vitamix. We use Vitamix all the time, and you know, both of these we use every day, so very important for us to have those. We've loved it. And up here, pots and pan storage. Again, wanted to be able to get them whenever I need them. I don't have to, you know, go climb down in that cupboard and get to the way back. They're just right here ready to have. And here's our water storage, or our water filter. It's the Eco Filtro brand. So John's Aunt Heidi gave this to us. We were looking at getting the Berkey, and we're going to do it. But since this was given to us, we were grateful for it, and we've used it, and we've loved it. It has a ceramic pot inside that you need to change. I think it's every 2 years. So far, we've had no problems, and we put everything that we're going to drink through here, no matter where we get it from.
So for me, traveling was just, it's something we did when I was a kid, and it gave me that desire to want to do it more and to want to do it with my kids so that they would in turn have the same thing. And it wasn't really something I thought about much. It was more or less something that was just like off in the future, you know, someday we'll be able to do that. And we saw an opportunity to do it. And the bus thing just made sense for us because I'm a carpenter. I have the resources and the ability to build a bus, and you know, it just made sense when we kind of looked into it. We had talked about doing an RV for a while, but that just isn't very exciting for us. The idea of buying something already built, it just doesn't feel like what we want. Building a bus of our own made a lot of sense. So yeah, we started doing that, and it was kind of a no-brainer for us. So we bought the bus December 6th of last year, and it's kind of sat through the winter. I think I stripped out the seats and got it kind of bare bones during the winter, but because it was so cold in Indiana, we couldn't really build much. Then in the spring, we started working on it after we sold the house. It took 3.5 to 4 months. She says 3.5, I say 4, to complete the build, start to finish. And that was pretty much finish. There's not a lot of little things. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, you're never going to be done. But because I was always doing that kind of work all the time and doing it on our house and doing it for other people, that was like the last thing I wanted, was to have a list of things that I still needed to work on while we were traveling. Because the way my mind works, that's just always there. So I wanted that to be gone while we did this.
Not to say we won't, you know, add or change a little thing here and there. But yeah, like he said, we lived at the farm for 10 years and we were remodeling it for 10 years up until the moment we sold it, and we did not want to feel that way. Yeah,
there's no big projects to work on at all.
So yeah, we're a family of 6, and figuring out how to make the toilet, shower, brushing teeth section of the home work was tricky, and the way it came out, we have loved it. So our tiny sink right here has been perfect. We really almost only use it for, you know, quick wash of hands and brushing teeth. But it's nice because somebody can be using the toilet and still there's a sink that's usable. And then also the shower, as you notice, we don't have any doors back here. We have that pocket door, but like a toilet, you know, it's just the curtain there. Over here, we have the curtain that can close so that if somebody wants to change their clothes and have privacy, they could just step in the shower, close the curtain. So in our family, everybody has a backpack and a water pack. So when we're ready to go for a hike, everybody knows right where to get what they need for what we're doing. We thought about having these here for towels, but the reality is we don't take showers every day. We don't need a towel spot all the time. So we just use these magnetic hooks for towels. When we do have wet towels, we'll just put them up and hang them wherever we are. So this right here has been great for keeping these up off the floor and having a dedicated spot. So this is another Habitat for Humanity restore find. Again, we thought John would do everything custom built, and for most of it he has, but for this, we got this whole cabinet at the restore for $30, and there's no way we could have bought all the hardware and wood for that price. So we were super excited when we found this because, you know, it kind of adds some character and it's reusing old material and it was cheap. So he just modified the back to be the shape of the bus ceiling, and then every kid has a drawer, and then we have one drawer for everyone's socks and one drawer for everyone's underwear. So the kids have their clothes down here, then John and I have ours up here, so we do get a little more room than the kids. We hang up most of our stuff. I have a little basket in here of things that I want just for my own. All of my dresses I just roll up and then I stick them back in there. Have a mirror with my jewelry over here. And then on the other side, we have our water heater in here actually. So whatever temperature we want our shower to be, all you do is just pick the number and it's there. So that's nice being able to choose that, because I guess in theory, if we want to take a really hot shower, we can turn it up and then turn it back down when we're done. So like, you know, when we're doing the dishes, it's not as hot, so we're not using as much power. That was the thought behind that. We really don't take super hot showers. So it's worked out great, but we don't really mess with it anymore. You just set it and forget it. This was actually one of the biggest shifts for us. When we lived at the farmhouse, we all lived in one big family bed. And so moving into the bus, this was the first time that the kids had their own beds. We tried doing it at the farmhouse. We built them fancy bunk beds, and they just all moved their mattresses down on the floor and slept together. And then they wanted to all come back with us. So we were wondering how this would work, having 4 different bunk beds. And so far they have absolutely loved it. They're at an age now, you know, our oldest is 10 and our youngest is 5. So, they have their own spaces where they can come and hang out. And really, you know, our kids never had a lot of toys, so paring down toys wasn't an issue for us. They have that toy storage underneath where they have 4 different bins for like the big, you know, building things like Legos and stuff. But whatever they, you know, toys or extra things that they want to have that are their own, they fit in their bunk bed. And we haven't had an issue with storage at all.
So outside we have our water fill for city water and also gravity fed. A regular RV water heater. It's a Fogati brand. That works great for us. We love it so far. We don't use a massive amount of hot water, but for what we do, it's been great. Down here on this side, we have all our water. We have 125 gallons of fresh water, which lasts us quite a while, depending really on how long we think we're going to have to wait for water. And then over here, we have 75 gallons of gray water storage. We did less gray water than we did fresh water, kind of knowing that we would always keep an eye on it. So on the other side here, we have all our storage, 2 LP tanks, which a lot of times one comes off and we use it for cooking with our outdoor grill. Just a lot of extra stuff, tools, this and that. And on this side, I have a 4,500 watt generator, box of mechanical tools, and just some more odds and ends. For security, we use the Wise brand cameras. We run those through our Wi-Fi, so if we're away, we can watch and monitor while we're away and also record, so we feel secure when we're gone, especially leaving the dog, stuff like that.
So when we went into this, part of me being able to talk him into it, I think, was that we decided we would just do a year and reassess, which was important to both of us because we didn't want to assume that the kids would love this or that we would love this. I have never traveled before. My parents took us, you know, to Florida every year and back, so I'd never seen or spent life moving around a lot. So we just didn't know how everybody would feel. How many months into it now? We just took off December 1st, so 2 months. But we already know that this is something.
Feels good.
Yeah, it feels right. And so actually, we've kind of altered our plan. Instead of doing a year, we're thinking about doing 6 months and then heading back to Indiana, where we're from. And you know, since John built this one in 3.5 months, we think he can do another one in maybe 3 months.
1.5.
Oh, 1.5. Huh, I don't know about that. But we've realized that with his skill set and the fact that we still want to keep traveling, we're thinking about possibly selling this one and building another one, or doing a custom build for someone. We've just realized that this could be a way to fund our travels that utilizes his skills and could keep us doing what we love. Yeah, so we are a wild family, and for us, being wild, the word wild to us just means, you know, not containable, always adapting and evolving. And us living in the bus right now was just another chapter of that in our lives, and a way to express that wildness that we love about life. Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, made a TikTok, but I am a lame millennial. I can't do TikTok. And we're talking about doing a YouTube channel, so maybe you'll see us there in the future.
Thanks for watching.